Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day. While the world is falling apart around us, I'm just going to do what I'm good at, and that is talk about Superman. For some reason, that's all I'm good at. What the hell did I do with my life? Anyway, today we're continuing our way through Superman 95 and the second story, The Practical Joker. Now, you're probably thinking this is a prankster story, and you would be wrong. It involves Poindexter Wells, the nephew of the Daily Planet's publisher, Frank Wells, not to be confused with Frank Wells, the former president of Disney. He died in a helicopter accident. I don't know why you needed to know all that, but that's just how my mind works. Who is a massive Playboy Practical Joker. He's even known as the Playboy Practical Joker. He actually isn't all that different from the prankster, except he doesn't do things ridiculous like trying to copyright the alphabet. Remember that storyline? If you haven't been watching these videos long enough, go back and find out about that one. I forget what video that is. We've done too many stories. But yeah, the prankster copyrighted the alphabet. I may have been too hard on that stupid story. That's a wonderful idea. It doesn't make sense, but it's a wonderful idea. He just does annoying things. He's just a massive nuisance. At one point, he dresses up like a gorilla because I think I'm actually very confused by this. Superman stops a gorilla going crazy on a construction site and ties it up in steel beams, which it shouldn't be able to get out of. And then when he returns, there's that gorilla again, except it turns out to be Poindexter in a costume. So I actually thought there was no gorilla, but now rereading it, maybe he just dressed as the gorilla to screw with the Daily Planet because of the gorilla scene that was happening. It's really unclear, because Superman just assumes it's the same gorilla. And I don't have anything to tell me otherwise, other than like the timeline wouldn't work, but Superman comics don't really care about their timeline, to be fair. So honestly, this story isn't particularly very good. We've had kind of versions of the story early on in the Golden Age. And God, when they introduced a giant gorilla, there was a part of me who knew it wasn't going to happen, but man, I was hoping for a Gorilla Grodd. I'm hoping for some Silver Age stuff. I know we're only a year away from Silver Age things. I can taste the Silver Age. It's going to be less dramatic of a change when we get into the Silver Age with Superman, but we're going to get some amazing villains soon, and a whole different idea of how to write comics. We're so close. In fact, Grodd gets created in another 4 years in the Flash. Oh, Barry Allen's coming. We're not going to really talk about him till he finally shows up in a Superman comic, which can be whenever. I don't know. The first Flash Superman, specifically the Barry Allen Flash, team up in Superman. But it's got to be coming at some point. Oh, the Silver Age is coming. It's coming. It's just going to be very slow, especially when we start covering Superboy comics for a very long time. Yeah, that's going to happen. There isn't much to say. He's just doing annoying things for a while. And he starts to feel bad for it because the story sort of requires him to do it, other than an actual story about him feeling bad about it. So when Clark is set up by some criminals, he poses as Clark and tries to stop it himself. He actually has not a bad idea. Well, it is a really bad idea, but for comics, it's not a bad idea where he knows he's going to be captured, so he uses the stuff we had already seen, which actually shows him using his powers. That's actually good writing and foreshadowing. But none of that actually comes in handy because, Superman, he's got to save the day, and he does fairly easily, getting that unsatisfactory ending. In fact, we get Poindexter explaining how he got away at the end of the story, when I would have liked to see all that. There had been set up to that. I know this isn't that story, and he's not like Funny Man, the other Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster. I actually can't remember if that is his name. He's a comedic superhero who's basically like a clown. Who did not last for that long. Was he in more fun comics? We're going to talk about more fun comics in a bit. I'm just getting off topic a lot here because it's not a particularly very good story. He does inadvertently shoot Clark, so essentially the side plot is his practical jokes don't quite work on Clark right because of Clark's powers, and that makes Lois suspicious because it's the Golden Age and it's the 1950s, and that's what Lois's main plots are. But Clark gets out of it how he usually gets out of it. This is like the third or fourth time he's explained that he was bulletproof because he was wearing a bulletproof vest under his clothes, which just seems to be what his outfit is now. He's always wearing a bulletproof vest when it's convenient to him. Not really. Just like whenever he's been shot and he has to explain things. It's not very good. Someone should actually take off his clothes. Lois should demand him take off his shirt for many different reasons. Let Lois be a little horny. You heard me. I know it's a comic for children in the 1950s, but come on, let her be a little bit. What else to even talk about? There isn't really much. It's not even a story about him changing his ways at the end, which is what the better version of the story early on in the Golden Age would have been. Him just being kind of a jerk and Superman taking him around and making him a better person, like he's in a Charles Dickens story. What I'm saying is Charles Dickens should write Superman. I know he's been dead for quite a while before Superman started, but we should bring him back and write Superman. Okay, that is it from. I can't believe that's the conclusion of the story of this video is Charles Dickens should write Superman. But Charles Dickens should write Superman. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the bell icon to get notification when new video goes up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Fridays is Bat Friday, where I cover a Batman story in either Detective Comics or Batman. And Charles Dickens writing Batman would also be kind of interesting for so many reasons. How would a socialist deal with the capitalist superhero? I mean, he didn't exactly hate capitalists as long as they were doing good things with their money. Okay, until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow, and what's going to happen to Poindexter? He's basically just Jimmy in a weird way. Like, I would have assumed he was Jimmy. Jimmy does exist in the story and has a heart-to-heart, the most of an actual sort of plot of him gaining empathy, but that's few and far between. Okay, goodbye.